Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I wanted to do a quick video about two games I just beat, Sleeping Dogs and Watch Dogs. I've been going through my backlog and just playing through the main stories of games to try and finish them, and I just recently beat both of them. Watch Dogs first and then Sleeping Dogs 2 days later. Both titles are open world games. You probably know about them as they aren't very new anymore. One of them is a very chop-socky, kind of like Sonny Chiba-esque movie. Well, not Sonny Chiba because he was Japanese, excuse me, but how do I put it? Sort of like Hard Boiled or Stranglehold. It's like a John Woo film. That's sort of what you get when you play Sleeping Dogs. Watch Dogs is more like, I guess you would say, Grand Theft Auto with a hacking ability in it. I had done a video on Watch Dogs recently about just beating it after these couple of years it's been out, so check that out if you want to know a little more about that title. Overall, I did enjoy both games, and I do intend to go back and, you know, clean up a bit, do some achievement hunting in Watch Dogs, and maybe play one or two of the DLCs in Sleeping Dogs, where Sleeping Dogs, the definitive edition, came with the DLC, Watch Dogs doesn't. And from what I saw, I probably won't be investing in that DLC, the Bad Blood DLC for Watch Dogs. I found the gimmick of the hacking, even though it's simplistic, to be really fun and interesting in Watch Dogs, where I found Sleeping Dogs to kind of be flat. I think Sleeping Dogs had better graphics. I preferred the story in Watch Dogs, though Sleeping Dogs definitely picks up near the end. I just found it to be very kind of flat. It didn't do anything that I was like, holy shit. Where Watch Dogs did throw a couple curveballs at me. The driving was better in Sleeping Dogs, since they both are open world games. The driving was better and the graphics were better, so like the cars looked nicer and handled well. Where in Watch Dogs they were a little funny. The thing is, going back and forth between the games, or at least stopping, you know, beating one and then starting the next, I was mixing the controls up at points, trying to run with the right trigger, and then at one point trying to run with, I think it's the A button from the other game, so like I was getting confused. If you like those kind of like kung fu, you know, like I said, John Woo movies, I think you will, even Sonny Chiba movies, even though they're Japanese, you will like Sleeping Dogs. I think that might cater more towards you. If you like movies like Hackers or The Matrix, more towards Hackers, things like that, things that involve, you know, these stories about these like clandestine groups that are trying to take over the government and stuff like that, you'll probably lead more towards Watch Dogs. I did make a few notes on my phone, so let me see if I can go into those and if there's anything, you know, interesting. Sleeping Dogs has less guns. The Watch Dogs has a lot of guns. You're really going to be using only guns with just a couple other kind of like takedowns, where Sleeping Dogs has really good fighting, sort of reminiscent of something like Mad Max, or some people relate it to the Batman series or Shadow of Mordor. Lots of like counter-attacking and, you know, blocking and stuff. The voice acting in Sleeping Dogs I found it to be pretty bad. I don't know why. Not to say Watch Dogs was better, but I just liked the characters better in Watch Dogs, where in Sleeping Dogs I just felt everyone was kind of boring and flat, with the only person I recognized and I liked was Uncle Po, who's played by, it's Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China. So again, if you like that movie, check out Sleeping Dogs. James, is it Hong or Wong? I want to say Hong. You will know him from many movies over the years. He's a great actor. He's also the dude who makes the eyes in Blade Runner. So if you've seen that, you'll know him. He was a good voice actor, but overall I found the characters to be kind of boring, and I disliked Wei Shen. I know he's the main character in Sleeping Dogs. I know in Watch Dogs everyone found Aiden Pierce, me included, to be very flat, but I wanted to kind of see what happened. I was interested in the story to a degree, or invested. Where with Sleeping Dogs, I was just like, alright, I get it, next. And some of the missions just felt like flat-out filler. I felt like they would take these characters and develop them a little bit with you. Like, one instance that comes to mind is you're taking these girls out in your car and, like, driving them places, and you get into fights, and, like, you have to get away from the cops with them, but it never really goes anywhere. It doesn't like make the main story develop more. It just kind of makes your, I guess, relationship with these people develop. But I didn't really like the people, so I didn't want to like go further with them. It was good, don't get me wrong, not like knocking the game. I just felt like there was more filler. There was more filler, and the graphics were nicer. The story didn't get me as much. The voice acting didn't get me as much in Sleeping Dogs. I thought that the scenarios and the thinking kind of hacking abilities in Watch Dogs was better. I liked being able to pull up my phone and kind of encounter a mission, you know, fucking full force with guns, or like go through the cameras and, you know, blow people up with my abilities. I thought that was cool. Where Sleeping Dogs really didn't have anything like that. It was more just like you run in, you have to fight people, get past that point, and continue. But as I said, the fighting was very good in Sleeping Dogs. What else? I thought Watch Dogs felt a little bigger to me, a little more grand, where it takes place in Chicago and a couple other areas in Illinois, where Sleeping Dogs was in Hong Kong, and it didn't feel as alive. I don't know, something about it just didn't, it felt smaller, like you were in like little sections. What else? There's one more point I think I wanted to make here. I also felt like the parkour and the running and stuff felt more fluid in Watch Dogs, where you would push, I think it's B on the Xbox, to jump over things and like run after people. I felt like Sleeping Dogs was a little more stunted, like you'd have to like push A at the right time, almost like a quick time event to grab the ledge and jump up and stuff. It was good, you know, and I liked both games. I just felt like overall what catered to me more was Watch Dogs. As I said, if you're into those hacking type movies or sci-fi type stuff, I'd go with Watch Dogs. If you're into the kung fu films, cheesy karate movies and stuff, I'd go with Sleeping Dogs. Both games are good, both games are cheap, both games are open world, and both games in the end are just really fun. But I had more fun and was just invested more in the world and in the characters of Watch Dogs. So that's my 2 cents on both games. I did like both of them. You know, chime in the comments, tell me what you guys thinks. Tell me what you guys think, and what game you liked better and why. Do you think I'm crazy and that my opinion sucks? Which is probably the case. So thanks guys for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.